Hello, it's Anne Marie with AM Astro. I have tried to do this video numerous times and I finish recording and then I'm just like, oh, I suck. So I'm gonna try it again and we'll see if I ever post it. Hopefully you're watching it. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully I don't decide to delete it again like I have done numerous times. So let's look at the Führer himself, Donald Trump. And so this is his birth chart. You may be familiar with it. And he has that Mars sitting on his ascendant. And Mars is in his own terms. See, these are the Egyptian terms on the outside. It's a day chart, so Mars is the malefic contradisect, so it's meaner than Saturn. Mars is also a nocturnal planet in a diurnal sign reporting to the sun, which is a diurnal planet in a nocturnal sign because it's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury rises after the sun, so it's a night Mercury, so it's nocturnal. So nocturnal, diurnal, nocturnal, which means that Mars is what's called Munkai or contentious. It's in contention. It's also described as offending God. So his Mars has not only sitting on the ascendant, being the malefic contradisect, but it's also Munkai or in contention. Well, guess what? The other malefic, Saturn, is a diurnal planet in a nocturnal sign ruled by the moon, which is in a diurnal sign ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter. So Saturn is also in contention. So he has both Mars and Saturn in this offending God situation where it's crossed over from what its natural signification, not like changing significations, but changing sect. It's a nocturnal planet in a diurnal sign that is ruled by a diurnal planet in a nocturnal sign that then goes back to the nocturnal planet. And then Saturn is a diurnal planet in a nocturnal sign reporting to a nocturnal planet in a diurnal sign reporting back to a diurnal planet. So it crosses over. Joy Usher has done a whole lot on this, and it's very interesting to see how that can show up and what can it show up. I just find it fascinating that Donald Trump has both malefics in this contentious situation. And so he is ruled by the sun because he is a Leo rising, that late Leo degrees, and Regulus, the fixed star Regulus, on that ascendant. And Regulus is known as one of the four royal stars, royal Persian stars. And it is also known for its, it's like it gives you claim and fortune and fame as long as you don't seek revenge, and then it takes it all away. Who are we talking about here? So that's a big deal. That, I know it doesn't look good right now. I know it's so frustrating, but he is all about seeking revenge. It will be taken away from him. I do not know when. I cannot tell you, but we're gonna look, okay? We're gonna see if we can find it. And one of my favorite astrologers right now is, as you've seen me do the astro quizzes, is Alex Harper. And she says that we can't look at these charts emotionally, when we're looking just to satisfy what we want. But that's what I'm going to do. So, I'm sorry, Alex, I'm going to just do it. So this is his birth chart. So now we're going to look at his solar return for this year, which just happened last month, June 13th, 2024. And we'll just look at this chart. And so the ascendant here is in Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. And the moon here in Virgo. So this is a very detail focused moon in Virgo, and critical and focused on messaging, you know, very critical about the message, very critical about the details, community. And it is, so the last aspect that this moon had was trine to Jupiter. Was it that long ago? Yeah. So that was a while ago, 10 degrees ago. There was this trine to Jupiter. I'm sorry, square to Jupiter. Excuse me, square to Jupiter. I got confused with the Taurus. And then it is applying to an opposition to Saturn. So squares are tension. Jupiter is justice. So there's this confrontation with justice, and then immediately faces karma. So that kind of sounds like, you know, he's gonna a little comeuppance, and this is his solar return for the whole year. So it doesn't mean anything's gonna happen like right away. The fact that all three of these planets here in the 12th house, being the sun being one of them, so where the sun is in your solar return chart is like where the focus is going to be that year. So hello, prison, hospitals, hidden enemies, self-undoing. These are all 12th house things. Yes, I'm reading what I want into it, but it's there. So you can only read what you see. And so let's just run real quick. So this is a diurnal Mercury. So these, you can't look for Moonkai here because Mercury's in his own sign. So once you hit your own sign, it doesn't go to, you don't go anywhere else. So all of those are in Gemini. We don't look at those. Mars is a nocturnal, and this is a day chart. So again, Mars is the malefic contradisect, but it's in Taurus. It's in detriment. It's in Taurus because it reports to Venus. Venus is a nocturnal planet as well. So no Moonkai there. And then Saturn is in Pisces, which is a diurnal planet, and it's a nocturnal sign, but it reports to Jupiter, which is a diurnal planet. So no Moonkai. Nocturnal, diurnal. So there's no Moonkais in this solar return chart. We don't have any contention. We just have that moon that's ruling the chart, separating from a square to justice Jupiter. But Jupiter is in detriment. So this could be, I would read that possibly as maybe a judgment that was incorrect, or judgment, because Jupiter in Gemini, lots of details, lots of communication, lots of paperwork, but that's Jupiter's detriment. So it could be that it's separated from a square to this. Is it a good judgment or is it not a good judgment? Is it going to stand or is it not going to stand? And then facing the opposition to Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn is in the terms of Mars right at the very top of the chart. So to me, that feels like that even if there's people questioning the ruling, the conviction that he had in New York, which is what I'm thinking of because this is June, but it is all year round, right? This is his solar return. So there's, people questioning, was that a sham trial, blah, blah, blah. So there's that square to that justice, but then immediately there's the opposition to Saturn at the top of the chart, karma. So I'm saying that it's still gonna stand. All right, now we're gonna do a 12th harmonic, which is moving the sun from the degree that it is in. So a solar return, okay, looking back at, this is his natal. Solar return is, so his sun in his natal chart is at 22 Gemini, 55 minutes. So then when we go to the solar return, it's when the sun gets back to that 22:55 Gemini in around your birthday. It's not necessarily on your birthday. It could be a day before or a day after, because, you know, we got leap years and all that nonsense, but we get it to the same degree as it is in your natal chart. So that's the solar return. So then the 12th harmonic is we move it forward to 22:55 and the next sign over. So this is July. So this is for the month from July 14th through August 14th. And this we just look at to see if we can get any clues from what we were seeing in the solar return chart. And does anything look similar, i.e., does it have the same message? Well, we're not seeing anything in the 12th house, but the ascendant in part of the 12th house is ruled by that Jupiter / justice again. And where is Jupiter? In the 6th house of ill health, hard work, day-to-day nonsense. And Jupiter is still, of course, in Gemini in detriment. But look what else is going on here in the 6th house of ill health. It's Mars conjunct Uranus, and it's an applying aspect. So co-present in the 6th house with Jupiter, the ruler of the chart. So this would indicate that there could be health issues because the ruler of the chart is in the 6th house. And then also it's a day chart. So again, Mars is the malefic contradisect. So he's meaner. He's meaner than dirt. He's applying to Uranus. Damn it. He's mad. He's a mad, but Mars is also in detriment. And so that's a meaner than mean Mars. And he's in Saturn's terms. Yes. This looks like a health crisis to me. I'm sorry, it really does. This looks like a health crisis. So let's look at the moon. The moon, the moon's in fall. Reporting to that Mars in detriment. That's nasty, nasty. In applying square to Venus, and Venus is moon Kai and Mercury is moon Kai, because they both are in Leo. So these are both nocturnal, and they're reporting to the sun, which is diurnal, which is in Cancer, reporting to the moon. So, and this is the 8th house of death or anxiety or debt, the effects of other people's drama. So out of my hands. So that these are contentious planets here. Venus and Mercury are contentious, and in the 8th house. And let's see, so I was saying that the moon is applying to a square to that Venus. Venus rules the 5th, look at that, and the 6th. So the ruler of the 6th is in the 8th house. That's not looking good, and is in contention. Opposing Pluto, but this is like mutually separating, because Pluto's going back this way because he's retrograde, and Venus is going this way. So they were conjunct when Venus was at 1 degree, but she's gone on to 2, 3, and she's going on to 4, 5, and Pluto's going back to 0, 29. So, but they're within orb of an opposition. So Pluto is death itself, right? So that's not looking good. And with the South Node right on the midheaven in Venus's sign as well, this is like, your reputation and your public persona, and how you're being presented to the world, or how the world is perceiving you. South Node is a drain. Everything's pulling from it. So it's like his reputation is just being drained away from him. Oh, wishful thinking, right? But I'm reading the chart. I'm just reading a chart and I'm seeing it. So are you with me? What else do we see in this? So that is also the exaltation of Saturn. You can hear the doggies down here. And Saturn is at the very bottom of the chart in the third house of that messaging again. So Jupiter is also in, Jupiter ruling the chart. Did I already say this? Is Moon Kai as well, because it's a diurnal planet reporting to a nocturnal planet reporting to a diurnal planet. So Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter are all in contention. They've all offended God. And they're in the 6th and the 8th house, the dark houses. And Jupiter, in detriment, in contention, rules the first house, the ascendant, the vitality. So July 15th or July 14th to August 14th look seriously concerning for one DJT, I would say. That's just me reading a chart. Then we'll jump ahead to August, which is when we move the sun to 2255 Leo. So we've gone from Gemini to Cancer and now to Leo. And so the sun rules Leo. So, but this chart is ruled by Cancer, so the moon. And so where's the moon? Oh no, it's in the 6th house of ill health. Again, we're looking at the 6th house again. And Sagittarius moon, so he has a Sagittarius moon in his natal chart. There's something about Sagittarius moons. If you read or listen to enough astrology podcasts like I have for the past 4 something years, which isn't, I know, very long, but there's something very, could be dark and mysterious and sinister about Sagittarius moons. And this one, nocturnal reporting to diurnal, and then where's Mercury? And Mercury is still nocturnal. So that moon is in contention in the 6th house. Ruled by Jupiter conjunct Mars in the 12th house. So this situation here, because this is a nocturnal chart, but both luminaries are below the horizon. So that's meh, that's not good. So Saturn is the, look at this. So Saturn is the malefic contradisect. And Saturn is right there on the midheaven, right there in the public. His reputation is just saying, I'm going to be mean up here. Karma is going to be very public, very out in the open, other than the fact that it's Pisces, which kind of makes it sound like it won't be out in the open. But because Saturn is retrograded, it is applying to the midheaven. So it's like, that makes it like stronger. You know, it's not separating away from it. It is applying toward it. So it's pulling into it. And look at this squares going on here. So both of these planets, this is a mutually applying square from the 12th house. Oh my goodness. So this is not good either. Wow, wow, wow. So we've already said that Jupiter is in contention. No, we said the moon is in contention. Jupiter reports to Mercury, reports to the sun. So Jupiter's in contention. Mars is not. Saturn is not. The moon is. Venus is not. And the sun is not. And Mercury is not. So, okay. But Jupiter is in contention and the moon is in contention. And that's the one thing, the moon is separating from this opposition and then applying to what? Well, it's separating from the trine to the sun. Okay. Because that's more recent. That's 22, 23. And then the next application that it will have is using traditional planets to the trine to the Mercury. So this is like getting bad news about your health. illuminating, like finding out the details about like bringing them to light, because it's the sun in Leo and it's a trine. So it's just going to happen. It's just going to flow to this moon kai moon in the 6th house in Sagittarius. So that looks with Saturn, the malefic, the greater malefic and the malefic contradisect on your midheaven with moon kai Jupiter conjunct Mars. Because even though Mars is not the malefic contradisect, it's still Mars. We're still talking about Mars here. Getting that square to Saturn. So this is another tough month for him, August to September. So while we're on a roll, let's look at September 15th to October 15th. To see what we've got going on. So now we have moved the sun into 2255 Virgo, and it's in the 3rd house. So we're back to messaging, community, details, learning lessons, blah, blah, blah. And because it's Mercury, because it's Virgo, it's doubling up on that. And it's Virgo details, like the dotted I's and crossing T's details, getting buried in the paperwork, legal battles, because it's going into the 3rd house, which is ruled by Libra. So that legal battle. See, this is how I'm reading into it, what I want to see, but it's there. I'm not making it up. It's there. I'm just reading a chart. So the sun rules a chart, and it's here in the 3rd house, and it's separating from a square to Jupiter, from the 11th house. That Jupiter is rejoicing in the 11th house, still in detriment though, but it's rejoicing. And it has co-present with Mars in fall. All right, so so the sun is not moon kai because it's reporting to Mercury. Mercury now is a diurnal planet because it's rising above the sun. So it has become a diurnal planet. Venus is in her own sign. Mars is nocturnal reporting to nocturnal, so that doesn't count. Diurnal reporting to diurnal. Diurnal reporting to diurnal. Nocturnal reporting to diurnal to reporting diurnal. So nothing's moon kai in this chart, but we've got, it's a night chart. So Saturn is the malefic contradisect, and it's in the 8th house and rules the 8th house of death and anxiety and debt and all those other fun things. So the moon, i.e. the body, is in the 7th house of partnerships, of open enemies. I'm finding all the stuff, kids. I'm finding all the stuff. Everything I can. So the last aspect that the moon made was what? It's not communicating with that. It's applying to a trine to Venus. So the last aspect, why can't I see anything, was the, okay, well, there, who knows? That's like a long time ago. I mean, that's, I can't even, I don't know. It's void. It's not void because it's applying to, it's leaving the void. So which one? So these two are in a trine, Jupiter and Venus, the two benefics, but it's a night chart. So Venus is the benefic that has more beneficence because it's below the horizon in a night chart. Jupiter can't be as good as it wants to be because this is a nocturnal chart. So meh, and it's in its detriment. But this is a separating trine because Venus is faster than Jupiter. So Venus is already, that communication's already happened. Whatever happened, whatever that represents, that flow is gone. And so the moon then is applying to complete that grand air trine. And that will happen in 7 degrees. 7 days, 7 hours, 7 weeks, 7 months, 7 years. Can we be talking about sentencing? No, this is already September, so we're not talking about sentencing. Okay, so nothing's really jumping out. There's on this one. This seems like, you know, some sort of, we're focusing on messaging and community. But Saturn is there in the 8th house, applying to the part of fortune, which I don't really, I mean, I keep it on the charts, but I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to it because I don't know enough about it to really dive in and say, here you go, he's in this time. No. So September to October 15th, but let's look at the next one because this would be leading up to the election. This would be representative of the election. And because this is October 15th to November 15th. And so we've moved the sun to 22 degrees, 55 minutes of Libra now. And it's in the 8th house of death, anxiety. And it's a day chart. So Mars is the malefic contradisect. Mars is in the 6th house of ill health. Conjunct that part of fortune that I was just talking about. Okay, so this chart is ruled by Saturn. Where is Saturn? Saturn's in the 1st house in retrograde in Pisces. So also Moon, Neptune, but they are actually in the 2nd house. Yeah, maybe not Neptune, but the moon by 5 degrees is in the 2nd house. But it's in the 2nd sign. And it's 29 degrees. That means there's something changing. Not only is it changing houses, but it's changing signs. So there's something changing there. That moon is saying, peace out, baby. I'm at the 29th degree of Pisces. I'm out of here. I'm out of the 1st house, which is health, vitality, going into the next house. Which it will then, what is this next aspect? So it's in a sextile, it's applying sextile to Pluto. So Pluto has made its way back into Capricorn and is now going direct for the last time, and then will be leaving Capricorn forever. So this has, with that moon at 29 degrees, has a very strong feeling of finality, doesn't it? Finality of the Capricorn, Pluto through Capricorn story of patriarchy and greed and all of that nonsense. It's separating from the trine with Venus, separating from a trine with Venus, and then applying to what? It's again, it's like, I don't know. I don't have anything else to do. I'm done. Because it's not applying, because that Mercury, when it's in Aries, that's inconjunct. So, I mean, I know inconjuncts are health crises. That's an angle that people look at for health, but it's not a traditional aspect. So I'm not looking at it. But the moon is in Pisces. So nocturnal planet ruled by diurnal planet, ruled by Mercury, is a nocturnal again in this one. So the moon is Moonkai. So this moon is telling a story. That sextile to Pluto, and it's an applying sextile, like it will be in just a few minutes, like maybe an hour, but less than an hour, I think, before that sextile hits. And then the next thing, like we said, is who knows what, because it's nothing. Because let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, the conjunction with the North Node, but that's not a planet. So that's not a planet. Holy crap. So what would it be? Like, seriously, will that moon be going void for how long? Okay, so I guess the next aspect would be the sextile to Jupiter. Wow. But Jupiter is not contentious because it is a diurnal reporting to a nocturnal reporting to a nocturnal. Yeah. But the moon is in contention, and at the anaretic degree of the whole zodiac, and then going into a void, basically, because it's going to take 21 degrees. I mean, if you usually look just 12 degrees, like even if it has to change signs, like if it was something, I mean, it is going to change signs, so it is in all means it's a void moon, but it's not, because it's applying to Pluto, which is not a traditional planet. So let's just see. So ruler of the 6th house of ill health is that moon. Rough. Reporting to Jupiter. In the 4th, foundations, the grave. Again, I'm reading into it. Just reading a chart. 8th house of death is ruled by Venus, which is at the top of the chart in detriment. So this is, and then with Pluto in the 12th house at the anaretic degree. So this looks, that moon is telling something. That moon is not happy. So just a couple more. We'll look at November. So this is mid-November to mid-December. So we've moved the sun to 2255 Scorpio. It's in the 8th house. It's in the 8th house of death, of anxiety, of transformation. Ruled by Mars, so it's a day chart. Mars is the malefic contradisect. You're in the 5th house of creative self-expression, taking chances, romance, which doesn't seem to apply at all. And we've got this separating square from the moon to that Mars. Oh, and well, that's it's an inconjunct there to Venus. What else? This is like everything spread out everywhere. Okay, so the ruler of the 6th house is the sun, and the sun is in the 8th house. This dude has so many health crises coming up. So many. Oh, and look, Saturn is stationing in the 12th house. And let's see, what is it? What is the aspects? In a square to Mercury, but it's a separating square. So, well, the moon will sextile that Saturn, but first it's gonna, yeah, that's the next aspect. So there you go. In the 1st house, in exaltation, separating from square to Mars, applying to sextile to Saturn. Sextile means it's an opportunity from the 12th house. Hidden enemies. Saturn rules the midheaven, the 11th house, and the 12th house. So Saturn has this whole quadrant in its domain. And if you think about the judicial branch is the 9th house, the executive branch is the 10th house ruled by the Saturn. I'm making myself sad now again. The 11th house is ruled by Saturn, which is the legislative branch. So Jupiter, where are you? You're in the 3rd house in detriment, retrograde. You're just miserable. This Jupiter is miserable. What is it talking to? Not even talking to anybody. This is like, well, if you want to say the Supreme Court has been completely blown up. Just having fun, just reading a chart. But there's this, I don't know, all of a sudden when I was looking at this, so separating from Mars and applying to this Saturn in the 12th house, it's like, well, wait, what does Saturn rule? Oh no, Saturn rules. So this could be, okay, so if he's dead already, if he's dead already, then this could be like Biden pardons him or something, because he's gone. And it's just like, let's just forget that this ever happened. Let's just sweep it under the rug. Hidden enemies. Let's hide this out of sight, out of mind. Let's just forget about him. Please, please. Cannot be what that means. Good Lord. All right, one last one. Okay, so this is December into January, which would cover the inauguration. Okay. Ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is in the 7th house, in detriment, sitting there with the part of fortune, with the moon applying to a conjunction in the 7th house. See, that's not, I mean, that would actually be good if we wanted good things. But it's a night chart, so Jupiter's not as good as we want it to be, or it's not as good as it wants to be, because it's a night chart. The sun has not risen yet. So Venus is the benefic of sect, and Venus is in the 3rd house of messaging, mutually separating from this opposition to Mars, mutual separation. That would be mutually separating from the sextile, because Mercury's going that way. So, but this is, wait, no, that's, that's the closer aspect. So sextile from Mercury in Sag. Mercury is not happy in Sag, and it's retrograde, but it's on the ascendant. Sorry. So this is a trine, and this is the malefic contradisect, and he's in the 8th house because he's retrograde. So he's going, so even though he's within 5 degrees, he's going this way into the 8th house. That's the way I'm reading it. That's the way it is. Saturn's right on the IC, the grave, death. I'm just so funny now. I'm just pushing it. I'm pushing it. The fact that these are all in the 7th house, this could be legal stuff, details. Like, so the previous month we looked at, he was being pardoned or something, say, let's forget all about it. Now they're just cleaning shit up. They're just cleaning up the details to say, okay, this is what happened. He was never president. Those judges have to go, right? Didn't we say that, yeah, in that last chart, the judges were in the bottom of the chart. In detriment, retrograde, yeah. So this is, they're dotting the I's and crossing the T's with all the legal mumbo jumbo and he was never president, okay? Are we good? I think we're good. I hope you enjoyed my travels through the 12 harmonic charts for Donald Trump. And this is all just for entertainment purposes only, because we need to laugh, right? We need laughs now more than ever. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you again soon. Thank you.